beginning, just allow me to introduce a little bit the plant material which we use, the timut pepper, also known as the Nepalese pepper. The scientific name is Xanthosillum armatum, and it's not a real pepper. It's a member of a citrus family. So that means it's much more related to oranges, grapefruits, and lemons as to real pepper. It is also very close related to the well-known Sichuan pepper and Japanese pepper. It grows in the southern edges of the Himalaya mountains, especially in Nepal. And in Nepal, it's used for many different kind of cookings, especially to add it as a kind of a flavoring and light spicy ingredient for wok dishes and also dumpling dishes. Characteristic for the timut pepper, it's its pleasant grapefruit-like taste. And it's also mediating a characteristic tingling sensation on the tongue, also which is known for the Sichuan pepper. Popular since centuries in the Asian cuisine, now it's getting also more popular in the European cuisine. And in UK, the BBC has mentioned the timut pepper as one major new food trend in 2018. And also, in the meanwhile, on European plant positive lists, the plant material is already listed for usage in dietary supplements.
呢一個竹葉花椒果配方裡面最主要嘅一個成分就係竹葉花椒果，咁佢亦都係稱之為尼泊爾嘅藤椒，因為佢嘅生長地方係喺南部嘅喜馬拉雅山，亦都尤其是係喺尼泊爾。比起真正嘅花椒，佢更屬於柑橘類，同西柚、橙仲有檸檬更為相似。佢係廣泛運用喺一啲煮飯上面，亦都係會去整一啲餃子啊，或者係煮飯，即係我哋成日都會食嘅中式菜啦。或者日本都攞嚟會做一個藥嘅傳統嘅藥嘅成分。咁根據 BBC 而家喺歐洲越嚟越普遍，仲越嚟越有人氣啦。佢嘅味道咧就好似一個好香嘅西柚味咁樣。Thank you.
Characteristic for the timut pepper is a presence of a very interesting molecule. It's the so-called hydroxy alpha sanchol. Here you can see the chemical structure also at the bottom at the slide, and it's a member of the so-called acrylamides. And this molecule, it's known also to mediate the numbing and tingling sensations of this molecule if you eat timut pepper or Sichuan pepper. The molecule is well known and investigated for its good bioavailability, and it's also able to cross the blood-brain barrier. Generally, a few brain health benefits have been already reported for alpha-hydroxysanchol and the timut pepper, but to our knowledge, it was only on cellular level or on animal trials. So to our knowledge, we have been the first party investigating the brain health benefits of alpha-hydroxysanchol in humans.
竹葉花椒果裡面嘅昂基 alpha 山椒素係佢主要嘅活性成分，可以調節麻木咗刺痛嘅感覺，所以佢會好似四川麻辣嗰啲花椒咁樣，會有少少輕微嘅麻麻地嘅感覺。佢有唔同嘅文獻都記載咗呢一種嘅成分，可以俾人體好好咁樣去吸收，輕鬆咁樣喺血液穿過腦屏障入去腦部。Yep, thank you.
So we are able to produce the product in two different versions. One is a liquid version. This is based on pure medium chain triglyceride from coconuts. But we also offer a powder version, which also still contains medium chain triglyceride. So medium chain fatty acids are like caprylic acid and capric acid are present typically in a ratio in coconut oil of 60:40. And these medium chain triglycerides have a very interesting property because they can directly absorb from the gastrointestinal tract into the bloodstream, and also securing a high bioavailability for all kind of molecules dissolved in MCT oil. MCT oil is used frequently in human nutrition, and it's also known as brain octane. It's associated with several health benefits, especially energy boosting, improving of cognitive function, and these different positive benefits of MCT oil are only relevant for relatively high daily dosages. So it's reported that up to 20 grams per day are needed to mediate these biological effects. Furthermore, MCT oil is frequently used in food supplements, but also in food products as a kind of emulsifier and also for different kind of formulations.
MCT oil 亦都係呢一個配方裡面嘅另一個元素，咁佢亦都稱之為大腦甲烷。佢係對身體裏面有好多嘅益處，咁佢亦都可以提升大腦嘅能量啦，仲有改善腦部嘅認知能力等。MCT oil 分子好細，就同昂基 alpha 三焦素好相似，佢可以喺消化通道被擴散入去呢個血液裡面，可以迅速俾人去吸收，所以確保咗非常高嘅生物利用度。MCT oil 已經廣泛用於一啲保健品或者係功能性食品，同埋一啲運動營養類嘅營養品，或者係一啲提升能量嘅補充品。Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about brain aging and cognitive performance. So the age of the braining is a very, very natural process. And it's well known based on long-term clinical trials like the MIDAS study that typically the cognitive performance goes down starting from the mid-30s. As you can see here in the slide, where the same study volunteers participate every 5 years in this clinical trial to investigate their cognitive performance. It's a natural aging process, but typically it could be also accelerated by unhealthy lifestyle, poor nutrition, and many, many other factors. Brain aging is very, very often associated also with an age-related decline in neurotransmitter release. Neurotransmitters are very, very important molecules which are mediate our activity and the basic function of our brain. And important neurotransmitters are, for example, acetylcholine, GABA, serotonin, and also dopamine. And it is also known that also the receptor density of these molecules goes typically down during aging in our brain tissue.
咁我哋而家嚟講下呢個年齡仲有認知能力嘅關係。咁隨住年紀嘅增長，其實唔同嘅內外因素都會令到呢個大腦衰退，並且去影響呢個認知能力。研究顯示，就係喺30中歲嘅時候就會開始下降。腦衰退速度亦都會係因為生活上嘅唔同嘅不良嘅習慣，去影響佢急速下降嘅速度，並且會出現認知障礙嘅現象。腦神經遞質，例如 Y 氨基丁酸，仲有安多巴同埋其他唔同嘅認知能力有關嘅腦神經遞質，會釋放得少咗，仲有佢哋嘅密度，仲有敏感度都會隨住年齡嘅增長而下降。Thank you.
Therefore, we have especially investigated to identify a molecule from nature which is able to delay the brain aging. And as a very, very interesting molecule, we have considered the hydroxy-alpha-sanchol and the related xanthosylum plants. So we investigated at the beginning a little bit the literature, and it is well known that alpha-hydroxy-sanchol is interacting with different receptors and has different properties on our brain tissues. So first of all, it could be demonstrated that hydroxy-alpha-sanchol is able to increase the release of important neurotransmitters like acetylcholine and also GABA. Furthermore, it's reported about the interaction of alpha-hydroxy-sanchol with the so-called TRP receptor. The TRP receptor is expressed on the tongue, but also in the brain tissue. On the tongue, it mediates the numbing and tingling sensation of the Timut pepper. In the brain, it triggers the calcium influx into neural cells. And based on this, typically neurotransmitters will be produced and released and will be available for the neurons. Another interaction has been demonstrated with a potassium ion channel known as KCNK3, also resulting in a higher release of neurotransmitters. Furthermore, as a third kind of mode of action, we can claim that we have also some structural similarities between alpha-hydroxycentrol and the monoamine neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine.
根據唔同嘅科學實驗報告，昂基 alpha 山椒素，仲有佢嘅花椒屬嘅植物都可以提取物，可以通過唔同嘅潛質去到提升呢個大腦嘅活力。咁佢係會增加到呢個乙硫膽鹼，仲有 Y 氨基丁酸嘅釋放。呢兩個係對於人嘅認知能力，都係一個好重要嘅腦部嘅遞質。佢會引導細胞鈣流入和雙孔鉀離子通道嘅傳遞，而且呢兩個傳遞嘅呢兩個離子嘅通道 TRP 仲有 KCNK 都係控制返腦神經遞質嘅關鍵過程。
Let's take a look into the specific results. The first result, which I would like to show you, is about the acute effect after a single dose intake. And here we have demonstrated positive effects by measuring the time the people need to do all kind of performance tests in relationship to the attention task of this test battery. And as you can see here, the study volunteers having taken Sarapep are performing much more faster in comparison to the placebo group. Also remarkable is the long-lasting effect, because if you compare, for example, with caffeine or coffee, typically it's most only active for 30 minutes. Here we are able to demonstrate also an effect after 5 hours after the intake of our product. So that we can conclude that the Timut extract treatment improves the mental performance directly after its use.
呢一個 Compass 嘅實驗，呢個測試嘅方式係一個非常之高密度，仲有好時間緊迫嘅一個測試。喺一個好短嘅時間之內，佢哋需要做好多非常之多，亦都係非常之密集嘅測試。咁喺做完之後，佢哋發現食咗，仲有未食嘅時候，未食係灰色嘅嗰個時間，佢哋嘅嗰個反應時間。咁橙色嗰一方面咧，就係佢哋食完呢個配方之後嘅進步。咁佢哋嘅進步係可以見到去到5個鐘頭之後，所以可見由呢一個圖可以睇到佢哋嘅反應時間快咗，唔係淨係食完之後嘅1個鐘頭，係去到5個鐘頭之後都仲有佢哋嘅持續嘅效果。Thank you.
On the next slide, we show the results for a special test, which is called the Rapid Visual Information Processing Test. Typically at the monitor, the study volunteers see very, very, very fast appearing and disappearing numbers in a random order. And if the study volunteers are able to detect 3 even or uneven numbers in a row, like here, for example, with the 426, we have to press the response button. And typically in this test, around 100 numbers will be shown within 60 seconds only. So it's a very, very challenging test. And typically the study volunteers do mistakes. And we were able to demonstrate that the study volunteers taking the Sarapep new are doing less mistakes in comparison to the placebo group. And this test is in a direct relationship to working memory, concentration and attention.
咁喺呢個 Compass 測試裏面有另外一個嘅短期效果嘅測試。咁呢個測試就係包括佢喺嗰個電腦上面會出現好多唔同嘅數字。如果同一時間見到有3個單位數字，即 即係單數數字嘅出現咧，就要去撳，要去反應，要話俾個電腦聽，哦，我見到啦咁樣。咁佢喺呢一個測試裏面咧，會有唔同成百幾個嘅數字會彈喺嗰個電腦上面。咁可以見到同頭先一樣，同頭先嗰個專注力嘅速度方面都係一樣，去到5個鐘頭之後都可以見到佢有呢個持續嘅效果。Thank you.
On the next slide, we show a result for the chronic effects. This is also time measurement again. In this case, it's about the performance tests of all cognitive tasks, so more or less for the whole of the majority of the cognitive test battery. And here we were also able to demonstrate that the people having taken the Timut pepper extract for about 2 months perform much more faster in comparison to the placebo group. And also here we can conclude that the Timut pepper extract is able to improve the long-term mental performance.
測試完之後，見到佢嗰個長期效果，就係用57日裡面所有嘅數據去做嘅最後嘅一個分析，就係可以顯著咁樣見到佢有提升測試者所有嘅認知任務嘅表現，通過9個唔同嘅任務嘅平均反應時間得出嘅一啲資料。咁可以見到就係佢哋食完之後嘅效果，食完呢一個配方之後嘅效果係有顯著嘅提升，腦部反應時間嘅提升。咁對比起另外一組嘅人，就係食咗一個油，就係話咗俾你聽，呢個係 work 嘅，呢個係用到嘅，呢個係有效嘅。不過其實嗰個係一個假嘅。咁其實係算係一個心理上面嘅排除翻一啲會唔會話我話咗俾你聽，真係有用嘅喎。咁食咗之後，佢可能真係心理會覺得有用，不過其實嗰件嘢係冇用嘅。咁就對比翻兩組人，一個係食咗真正嘅配方，另一個食咗個假配方嘅時候，可以見到食咗真正嘅配方嘅佢哋嘅反應時間係明顯快過灰色嗰個冇食到嘅嗰組人群。Thank you. Next.
As you can imagine, it's a very, very stressful day for the study volunteers. So it's a little bit like doing exam in school or at university. So wherefore, after each of the 4 cognitive assessments, we have asked the study volunteers how fatigued they feel. And when we have analyzed, and here you can see the increase generally in fatigue from assessment to assessment. And we see after the chronic intake a huge difference between the Sarapep group and the placebo group. So that we can conclude that also Timut pepper is not able to activate the brain tissue and to support the cognitive function. It's also able to mediate stress resistance. So Timut pepper is also able to reduce the self-reported signs of mental fatigue.
完咗所有嘅測試之後，我哋都會去問翻所有嘅試用者佢哋嘅疲勞程度，因為都係一個非常之長啦，仲有非常之高密度，亦都係一個好攰嘅測試，因為都要成6個鐘頭啦。所以咧，我哋係見到好明顯咁樣食咗呢一個產品之後嘅嗰個人群，佢哋覺得自己係冇咁攰嘅，對比起冇食到，即係食咗一個叫做假嘅配方啦，或者可以認為或者可以睇為係一個空殼嘅配方。咁可以從呢一個分析知道，其實食完呢個配方之後咧，係會可以降低精神疲勞嘅症狀。Thank you.
In the second study arm, we have investigated the cerebral blood flow in the brain tissue, and the background was to investigate if we have rather a simple cardiovascular effect, as it's known for many plant polyphenols, or if we have a real interaction with the brain tissue. And I can keep it quite simple. Our results are indicates that we have a direct interaction with the brain tissue and not a cardiovascular improvement inside of the brain. And similar effects have been also described for nitrate-rich diets, for example, if you eat red beet, but also for green tea extract and caffeine. So that we can conclude, Timut pepper extract directly increases the neural efficiency and is improving the brain function.
根據腦血沖量嘅結果 ，CBF 嘅測試結果可以睇到，其實佢呢一個配方對大腦認知能力嘅益處係由直接嘅機制去引導嘅，就係佢會去直接對腦嘅細胞進行一個提升，進行一個認知能力嘅提升，而唔係簡單咁樣去改善心血功能。咁其實佢呢一個機能就同我哋平時飲嘅茶啊，或者係咖啡因非常之相似。不過茶同咖啡因就會係一個短暫、非常之短暫嘅一個效果，而呢一個咧就係一個長期嘅效果。Thank you.
Summarize the outcome of this clinical trial. We were able to improve the working memory and attention. We were able to demonstrate that we are increasing the overall neural efficiency and mental performance, also with a long-lasting effect in comparison to very, very fast-acting ingredients like caffeine and also taurine. We were able to improve the stress resistance as we were able to reduce the ratings of mental fatigue. And also we investigated safety parameters during the clinical trial that we could conclude that the Timut pepper extract was very well tolerated during the clinical trial in comparison to the placebo group. And I can also mention that the clinical data have been published by the peer-reviewed journal Nutrients.
概括成個嘅實驗結果就可以見到，其實呢個配方係可以改善到工作能力、記憶力、注意力，仲可以增加精神表現、減低疲勞嘅分數、減低精神嘅疲勞、改善神經嘅功效，而且係單劑服用之後，可以對工作記憶仲有專注力係有好明顯嘅短期內嘅效果。臨床實驗呢一個臨床實驗冇任何嘅副作用嘅跡象啦。做完呢個測試之後，亦都呢一個實驗文獻都喺 Nutrients 上面發布咗。Thank you.
I have shown only a subset of data which we created by the clinical trial. Much more information also about the mode of action are available in our publication. So if you're interested to have a closer look into the clinical data, I highly recommend to read our scientific publication too.
如果對我哋呢個研究有興趣嘅話，亦都可以上網去睇返 Nutrients 嘅呢一個科學 journal 去睇返佢嘅實驗結果，仲有詳細啲嘅實驗情況。
喺我自己個人嘅感受啦，我覺得係令到我嘅睡眠質素好咗好多，因為我每晚咧臨瞓前我都有用佢啦，咁我瞓得咧係好深沉，咁然後咧第二朝早起身咧，好似成個人煥然一新咁樣咯。因為佢係純天然啦，咁亦都係瑞士嘅科技啦，咁呢兩樣嘢令到我係非常之有信心。
係你好，我姓游嘅，就係我媽媽就食緊呢隻腦活益嘅。咁我媽媽嗰陣時就80幾歲嗰陣時食㗎啦。咁啊點解我會食咧？就係因為我媽媽佢個睡眠質素唔好，就需要食安眠藥。其實食咗安眠藥，個人咧佢朝頭早起身咧好容易跌倒，因為我本身媽媽嘅行動就唔方便㗎啦。咁喺朋友介紹之下，我就去嘗試下食呢個腦活益。佢話呢個腦活益咧係會幫到佢睡眠，但係就冇。即係令佢個腦佢會發展得好少少，因為需要啲乜嘢做啲乜嘢。咁我就嘗試去食呢個腦活益。咁食咗之後，我媽媽其實食咗3-4日嘅啫，其實佢就已經係個睡眠質素好好多。朝頭早咧冇話唔精神啊，冇話唔食。點解咧？即係 佢仲識得去追我，就係話我冇晒咯喎，因為我初我係攞板翻嚟食嘅啫。咁冇晒咯喎，我仲有冇啊？即係我媽媽係追得好緊要，即係話其實呢隻藥係幫助咗佢好大。咁同埋我媽媽咧本身個情緒都唔係咁好嘅，因為佢本身有腦癌啦，即係個思緒病都唔係咁好，咁佢就覺得佢自己有少少輕生嘅念頭。食咗呢個藥3個月到啦，我就覺得佢個活動能力啦，佢嘅情緒啦，好咗好多。佢識得互動啊，初係唔想互動嘅，咩都唔想做嘅。就算個曾孫女同佢玩都好咧，佢都冇咁嘅思緒去同佢玩。但係食咗呢嘢3個月之後咧，佢真係我覺得佢有互動啦，識笑啦，我哋同佢一齊慶祝生日又識笑啦，好開心啦。咁同埋個孫女，即係我覺得佢個活動能力強咗好多。有一次個孫女跌親嘅時候，佢即時隻手去扶佢，捉住佢。咁其實我覺得呢隻藥係幫咗媽媽好多咯。我媽媽80幾歲啦，咁我都希望佢繼續生活得好好噶嘛，係咪？就係咁嘅情形嘅。所以其實我一直食 keep 住咗，我都有食咗2年嘅時間嘅，係啦。
Hello， 大家好，我叫 Colly， 咁我都人到中年40幾歲。咁其實喺3月8號嘅時候咧，我就中咗 Omicron。咁中完 Omicron 之後咧，我就身體係相當之虛弱嘅。咁我發覺咧自己咧經常都唔記得嘢喎。咁就經過朋友嘅介紹啦，就認識咗呢一個petal。咁腦回憶呢件事咧，我就因為佢全天然嘅一個食品級嘅精油嚟嘅，咁我就覺得其實都可以試下喎。因為點解咧？因為我長期咧都覺得好似個腦裏邊咧有一嚿雲咁樣，即係個人咧就迷迷糊糊，即係好多嘢都唔記得。咁我食咗腦回憶嘅初期咧，個人咧就好昏昏睡睡嘅。其實係正常嘅，因為咧我可能個腦咧或者係個身體就受咗損，咁其實咧就係俾我係通過瞓覺，咁就可以修復翻晒我啲神經或者修復翻晒我啲系統。咁其實咧我因為佢咁樣講啫，咁但係我都驚噶嘛，咁我就大概停咗1個星期啦。咁停咗1個星期嘅時候咧，其實個人咧就都仲係溫溫頓頓嘅，咁我再開始食翻腦回憶啦 petal。咁我大概食咗1-2個星期咧，咁嗰個人嗰個精神狀態就改變咗嘅，係特別即係顯著咧係我睡眠好咗嘅。咁我睡眠好咗嘅時候咧，同時之間咧個人嘅專注力係都好咗，因為我之前開會嘅時候咧係成日都發緊夢嘅。咁我即係食咗大概2-3個禮拜之後咧，其實我成個人好似係豁然開朗咗，就成個人可以專注即係做嘢，同埋嗰個腦啊都轉得快咗嘅，我覺得係。咁呢個係都係一個幾大嘅收穫。咁即係成個人精靈咗啲啦，係啦。咁我覺得其實呢個係相對於我嚟講，即係又唔係啲咩藥，咁但係一啲天然嘅嘢可以做到咁嘅效果。Omicron 之後好多人都會有一個叫做COVID 嘅後遺症。咁其實即係呢個其實係一個幾正面嘅一個食物級嘅東西係幫我哋咯，係啦。
我姓胡，今年77歲。我咧就食咗 petal 咧，就係有3個幾月。咁我咧就初食嘅時候咧，就半信半疑啦。就不過淨係有覺得自己有啲問題，先係想即係揾啲呢啲營養補充品啊之類嚟幫下我咁啦。咁我個問題就係好多時開咗個櫃門咧，就唔記得閂嘅。特別喺廚房，咁嗰啲櫥櫃咧就我開咗就由得佢咁。咁咧就第二樣咧就係即係我食嘅嘢好多時我唔記得咗佢叫咩名，咁咧就去買嘅時候咧就真係要去超級市場睇來睇去，然之後先知道係呢種。咁我舉個例，好似奇異果咁樣啦，咁其實好普通嘅嘢嚟嘅。咁我要去到然之後先知道咧自己買乜。 咁去藥房買藥都係咁樣嘅。咁啊就但係如果食咗 Smarto 咧，就係2個月到咧，就發覺其實係有改善喎。咁特別咧就係夜晚瞓覺嘅時候咧，瞓得冧啲咁啊半夜唔使起身咁咧就即係應該對我係有幫助。